We'll honour some legends of the ring shortly on ringside. But now it's all about emerging talent. Fight School comes back next week. Top of the bill, Danny Hunt. He meets Chill John for the English lightweight title. Craig Slater looks ahead.
He's an Essex boy with attitude, and Southend's Danny Hunt sees a glittering future ahead of him.
I know that I can fight, and I know that, you know, I can be a world champion, hopefully. Been kept in the shadow, so to speak, you know, behind closed doors. The time's ready to get on with it and unleash me and, you know, do the business on the lightweight division. Boy
racer or not, England's ex-amateur captain didn't hang about in the unpaid ranks.
I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be fighting seniors in the amateurs, you know, 18. I might as well turn professional and get the experience as a senior in the professionals.
So every round to Danny Hunt, and could be a name for the future at lightweight.
And after some flashy performances, he's no regrets about that slick move to the pros.
No regrets. You can't, can you? You can't look back. So I'm pleased. So now I'm a seasoned professional, you know. I'm only 22.
I rate Danny Hunt probably one of the best kept.
He's an Essex boy with attitude, and Southend's Danny Hunt sees a glittering future ahead of him.
I know that I can fight, and I know that, you know, I can be a world champion, hopefully. Been kept in the shadow, so to speak, you know, behind closed doors. The time's ready to get on with it and unleash me and, you know, do the business on the lightweight division.
Boy racer or not, England's ex-amateur captain didn't hang about in the unpaid ranks.
I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be fighting seniors in the amateurs, you know, 18. I might as well turn professional and get the experience as a senior in the professionals.
So every round to Danny Hunt, and could be a name for the future at lightweight.
And after some flashy performances, he's no regrets about that slick move to the pros.
No regrets. You can't, can you? You can't look back. So I'm pleased. So now I'm a seasoned professional, you know. I'm only 22.
I rate Danny Hunt probably one of the best kept secrets in British boxing. I think, you know, he will show on the Fight School programme that he is probably the best young fighter in Britain today.
Cutting no corners in training, Hunt's reaching physical maturity fast.
So obviously I've been training very hard, and I just can't wait to get in and get on with it.
Really looking forward to seeing him. But Barry, you've had an eye on him for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's not often I agree with Frank Maloney, but I do believe he's one of the best kept secrets in the business. And I do believe his power's getting much better. He's beginning to sit down on his punches, and that comes with confidence and experience. And he's a late developer. I think this kid's going to be British champion. I think he's going to be the best lightweight in the country, and very soon.
But this is the English title to start with against Chill John. What sort of a fight do you expect, Glenn?
I think it'll be a good fight, and it's a fight that he's gonna come into his own. But he's been kept out of the way, and I think they've done that for the right reasons. You know, he turned pro at 18. You've got to take your time with him. I think it was good that they didn't, because I think he was a little bit immature. And I think they've realised that they've kept him out, and now that you're starting to get his strength. You saw by the punch in there, it was good. He's starting to believe in himself, and now he's coming through because he's maturing. He's matured in the professional game, which is good.
This is an innovation since you were a young pro starting out in the late 80s, when they're on television quite early in their careers. Would you have valued that experience?
Oh, yeah, I think from watching what I've seen of him, I think he's going to go a long way. And I think what Frank's doing with the Fight School, I think that's a good way to start. I think
what they've done with him, they've done it the old-fashioned way, Paul. They brought him up out of the limelight. They've developed his strength. They knew he was a little bit weak. He hadn't have the real robustness and strength that professional fighters need to begin with. And they built him up, and now he's beginning to really feel confident. He's sitting down. He's knocked both guys out in his last couple of fights. He really is a prospect.
So that is our top of the bill on the second night at Fight School. Danny Hunt against Chill John for the English lightweight title belt. The bell rings for Fight School at 9 next Thursday, live on Sky Sports 1.
He's top of the class on Fight School tonight.
At 9 next Thursday, live on Sky Sports 1.
He's top of the class on Fight School tonight. One of our most talented youngsters who many believe is destined for the top. The gifted stylist Danny Hunt. And he tackles Chill John, who's rugged and tough. Rounds for the English lightweight title. It's Danny Hunt against Chill John, and it's live and exclusive from the Everton Park Sports Centre here in Liverpool. Hello and a very warm welcome to Fight School, a new venture to develop our finest prospects. We hope our first batch of students in Dagenham learned their lessons well. Our second group have more tough tests ahead of them tonight. Barry was guided carefully from the very start, so when his big chance came, he was more than ready. Danny Hunt has also been nursed through. A professional for 4 years, the classy lightweight has matured with every outing. And now it's time for him to be let off the leash, as Craig Slater reports.
He's been a lightweight in the shadows. Now Danny Hunt's ready to light up the division.
I feel the time's ready to get on with it and unleash me and, you know, do the business in the lightweight division.
An Essex boy racer, Hunt didn't hang about in the amateur ranks.
I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be fighting seniors in the amateurs, you know, 18. I might as well turn professional and get the experience as a senior in the professional.
Good work. Sharp reflexes from Hunt.
And after some stylish displays, he's no regrets about that slick move to the pros.
No regrets. You can't, can you? You can't look back. So I'm pleased. So now I'm a seasoned professional, you know, and I'm only 22.
It was only 18 when he turned pro, and, you know, he's only now physically turning into a man. So, you know, he did it nice and easy, slowly, underneath all the undercards of the big fights.
And with 2 knockouts in his last 3 fights.
Fighter in Britain today.
Although he knows Chill John will be out to freeze his assets tonight.
He's in there to win, and he comes to win. So that'll be better for me, really, because I don't like people that run.
It won't be plain sailing, but Hunt's convinced he'll ship the English title from Merseyside back to Southend.
This English title's a chance for me to get on the ladder and start progressing. So obviously I've been training very hard, and I just can't wait to get in and get on with it.
Well, Barry, he turned pro early and now he's starting to mature.
I think this guy is, like Frank Maloney said, he's a very talented kid. He is inclined to be a little bit circumspect, but now he's beginning to become a little bit more audacious. He's sitting down on his punches, he's punching with power. I really think this kid is a special talent. I believe, and it's a bit of a bold statement, that he is the best lightweight in the country, including Graham Earl, Bobby Vanzi and them all. I think, and maybe Jason Cook might have a thing to say about that, but I really think this kid's the best talent in the country at lightweight.
Well, that's some statement. He's had problems with cuts, of course. He's only lost a control cut, and in sparring he's had trouble.
Yeah, that is a bit of a worry, Nicky, because he has got high cheekbones, and that might be the reason why he's been, you know, inclined to box more than fight. And he's been cut in training too, which is a bit of a worry. But so did Ricky Hatton. He had to deal with that sort of thing and came over and overcome it properly. And of course he'll have Mick Williams in his corner, the specialist himself.
Of course. And Chill John tonight. You know, it's a tough fight.
Tough guy, strong guy. Spars a lot with Alex Arthur. Sparred with Scott Harrison. Strong, tough, durable guy. Knows his game. It's going to be a hard night's work for Danny Hunt. But I think he'll do it.
Well, one man who's been studying this improving box fighter closely is Spencer Oliver, and he's down at ringside with Ed Robinson.
Thanks, Nicky. Well, Spencer, I know you've kept a steady eye on the progress of Danny Hunt through the paid ranks. What do you think of him technically?
Let's assess him technically. I mean, his main assets are his jab. He works well behind that jab.
That's his main weapon, you'd say?
That's his main weapon. He's a pressure fighter that likes to come forward, works well behind the jab, uses it as a scoring punch, but also throws it with venom as well.
And that's a really important fight, obviously. I mean, important punch, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, he works well as well. He's got a great variety of shots, works well to the body and the head, mixes the shots up, and really impressive with those double hooks.
He does throw great combinations.
He throws excellent combinations, and he moves that head well in the early rounds.
Do you think he has any weaknesses at all, though?
Well, his one weakness is as the rounds go on, he tends to stand up straight and gets caught with shots. I mean, as a pressure fighter, you've got to come forward, you've got to keep the head rolling all the time, and Danny doesn't do that as the rounds go on, and that may be where he could get caught.
And that's a worry because he isn't experienced as far as rounds go.
No, he's only been the 6-round distance before, and his opponent tonight, Chill John, has been the 10-round distance before, and this is by far his most difficult opponent.
What about Danny's power? Some people have criticised the lack of power.
But they have criticised the lack of power, but he has stopped or knocked out 2 of his last 3. So he's only 22 years of age, and you know the punching power is coming along nicely.
Do you expect him to impress tonight?
I do expect him to impress tonight. I think he's going to win, and I think he'll win in style. This is one of the future stars in boxing.
Big night for Danny Hunt, but we'll have to wait and see if he wins that English title.
So it's the English lightweight title over 10 rounds from the atmospheric Everton Park Sports Centre here on Merseyside. Your commentators will be Adam Smith and Jim Watt, after our Master of Ceremonies, Michael Pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fight School. And tonight the term continues. We are looking for the top of the lightweight class. Would you please welcome firstly to the ring from Brighton, Chill John.
From the intriguing island of St. Vincent to the south coast of Brighton, and now this opportunity in the northwest of Merseyside. The well-travelled, cool and funkily named Chill John. Strong lightweight, decent experience, and has fought for a Southern Area title. Starts the underdog. Is he capable of messing up the script? Trainer Ronnie Davis has told us tonight that he believes he can cause the upset, Jim.
Well, I don't know if he can cause the upset, but he's certainly good enough and strong enough and tough enough to answer some questions that people have about Danny Hunt. He can certainly take him into the later stages, and any weaknesses that Danny Hunt may have, because he's never been beyond 6 rounds. This little fellow here would let us know all about those. He's tough, he deserves this chance, and this is a fight I'm really looking forward to.
And here comes Danny Hunt.
Come, let's go, let's have a little jog, let's have a little jog.
Repton kid, the Essex boy. What a big night for him, as Chill John chills out in the ring.
And now from Southend, the Essex boy, Danny Hunt.
The quiet, unassuming Cockney from Leigh-on-Sea. The home of English cockles and mussels. Will Essex boy Danny Hunt become England's lightweight champion tonight? The silky boxer who looks now to be punching harder in his 5th season as a pro. He may seem like a little kid still, but Danny Hunt's maturing into a bigger professional fighter. In boxing, Jim, timing's everything. Have the Fight School organisers got this one bang on?
Yeah, I think so. He turned pro very early at 18. The one worry I have is they may have kept him at the 4-round level too long. I think 14 of his, a dozen of the 14 fights have been over the 4-round distance. It's a big step up to the 10-round duration against a tough little fella like Chill John is. Well, we'll find out tonight, but definitely a talent.
He certainly starts favourite. He's 4 years younger, the same height, both comfortably inside the 9 stone 9 limit, and same reach too. Chill John been around for 3 years. Danny Hunt, as we said, in his 5th season now as a pro. He's had slightly more fights, but neither big punchers. Look for this one to go long and be won on skills and ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once more, and welcome to the Everton Park Sports Centre here in Liverpool. Tonight, Frank Warren Sports Network, www.frankwarren.tv, and Lonsdale, London, proudly present Fight School's final examination. 10 3-minute rounds of boxing for the inaugural Lightweight Championship of England. Welcome to viewers watching this broadcast live and exclusively on Sky Sports. The officials have been appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control. Steward in charge, Mr. Dennis Lockton. Doctors at ringside are Sharp, Rosenberg and Thomas. And so, ladies and gentlemen, live from Liverpool, this is Championship Boxing. Introducing to you the first of our challengers. Boxing out of the red corner, wearing the red coloured shorts, trimmed with yellow. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 9 stones, 7.5 pounds. From 12 contests, he has 8 wins. 1 of those wins coming by way of knockout and 4 defeats. Presenting the first challenger this evening from Brighton, Chill John. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the blue coloured shorts, trimmed with silver. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 9 stones, 8 pounds and 3 ounces. He has an excellent record, 14 contests, 13 wins. 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout, with only the 1 solitary defeat. Presenting from Southend, Danny, the Essex Boy Hunt. Timekeeper at the bell from Burnley, Mr. Gary Grennan, and the referee for this contest, star referee, Mr. Howard Foster from Doncaster. 10 rounds of championship boxing.
OK, lads, you both know the rules. Keep it clean, drink straight away when told. Both you watch your heads. Good luck to you both. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Fight schools in place to guide our finest fighters through ring education and learning, and Danny Hunt's come smoothly and virtually unscathed through 14 so far. Now, manager Frank Maloney believes this is the time to let him off the leash. A rugged, decent sort in Chill John in the red and gold trunks. Likes to come forward. So, we could have a good blend of styles here, and they may meet head on.
Work it out, both of you.
Yeah, this is the makings of a little classic. For a 10-round fight, you need a fight plan, which I'm sure Danny Hunt has set himself out. If the chance for a stoppage comes, then fine, you take it. But he'll be thinking a couple of rounds in the bank, just settle down, don't take any chances. It's a big jump from 6 rounds all the way up to 10 rounds. I wonder if that's going through his mind.
Chill John knows he is not the favourite here, therefore has whipped himself into what his team believe is the best shape of his life. Real chance for him to upset the apple cart here. Many believe Danny Hunt could be one of the best kept secrets in British boxing. Got to deliver now after 4.5 years as a professional.
He does have a lovely pro style, nicely balanced. I'm surprised he hasn't scored more stoppages. That, again, maybe because too many 4-rounders doesn't give you time to do the job. Old pros can fiddle through 4 rounds, but they couldn't fiddle through 6 or 8, so maybe he punches a little bit harder than his record suggests.
He did blast out David Kehoe at the York Hall in the 3rd round of their fight. So some power. They've taken their time to move him through slowly and safely. You can see the physical difference in him as well since he turned pro when he was just 18. Good defense from Danny Hunt, who's got hold of the middle of the ring.
I think John is a little bit more shifty than Hunt expected. I think he expected him to march forward, come onto the shots, but he's having to work this out, to find the range, find the target. Not much happened in the first round, clean punch-wise, but you can see it shaping up nicely.
Come on, work it out, Sells. Let him go, John. Come
Yes,
on.
he is decent, Chill John. Did take the British lightweight champion Graham Earl the difference. Southern Area title, did lose almost every round, but was there at the end of 10. Hunt never been beyond 6. Will that come into play later on? Welcome back to Fight School number 2 here in the Everton Park Sports Centre. Long way up for both of these men to have travelled. Danny Hunt from just outside Southend in Essex, and Chill John from the Sussex coast in Brighton, where, according to trainer Ronnie Davis, he's been running on the pebbles that Chris Eubank used to do his fast walking on. Have they done him any good? We'll find out. John, remember, in the red and gold trunks with the red boots, 4 years older than Hunt, who's got a little nick already by the left eye. Cuts have been a problem for Danny Hunt in the past. He was cut twice in sparring in his recent break from the ring, and his only defeat was on a cut to Leroy Williamson. And it's Mick Williamson in the corner that is getting things ready, but it's early in the round.
Yeah, there was a punch that caused the cut. I seen the punch landing, and then straight away the blood showing itself, so no clashes of heads, and it looks like a fair cut. It's difficult to get a good look because of the blood surrounding it, but it looks like a fair size cut. So hopefully this little battle will not be decided through injury.
He needed 8 stitches to that left eye when Leroy Williamson stopped him in this very round. The only blemish in the professional record of Danny Hunt. How will that affect him? He's been cut before, so he knows that is a weakness.
I think the most alarming thing is the fact he's been cut twice in the gymnasium. I would assume wearing head guards, so his cuts will be a big problem. If you've been cut in the gymnasium, then you have a serious problem.
I spoke to Mick Williamson earlier, and he said that Danny Hunt has just got that type of skin which may always give him a problem, a bit like Ricky Hatton's, but it's how the fighter copes under this sort of pressure, isn't it?
Well, it was a glancing punch. Probably if the punch had landed bang on, it maybe would not have caused the cut. It seemed to maybe pull the skin a little bit, but it's going to be a big problem, and he hasn't really found the range yet.
Chill John just nipping in and out. Looks comfortable in there. It's a decent right from Danny Hunt. Needs to settle down and get his variety, his boxing skills that he honed as a junior amateur. He won a cluster of NABC titles.
Well, John's reflexes have been a little bit sharper than I expected. I wonder if Danny Hunt's thinking the same things, because he's really struggling to pin him down here.
Decent looking uppercut and a bit of pressure from Hunt. That one got through. That'll give him some confidence.
Yep, Hunt coming back better in the second half of the round.
Let's have a look at the cut.
Listen to me now, listen carefully. Deep breath. Relax.
Relax. Stop being worried. Stop being worried. It's your fight, mate. It's an easy fight.
Listen to me. What you're doing, you're just chucking too many singles. Yeah. It doesn't like a little bit of pressure.
It's above the eyebrow quite a bit. In a bad place or not?
Yeah, definitely in a bad place. Yes, it's bang on the bone, which could be worsened. And I think it put him right out of his stride, because it took him a good 2 minutes to get himself going there. He was being picked off by long punches. I think in the first couple of minutes of the round he probably lost the round. He come back well. I think he settled down to the fact he had the cut, started to cope with it. But it's what happens now. Hopefully they can stop the bleeding.
Mick Williamson called God by Ricky Hatton, who saved him in the very first 15 seconds of his British title against John Thaxton, and in the first round when he cut again badly against Vince Phillips. Will it hold up for Danny Hunt as we enter the third, the vacant English lightweight title in the 9 stone 9 division? The silver and blue of the 22-year-old in fight number 15. The part-time actor, Danny Hunt, who's putting his boxing career first now. And he'll have to work against this tough Chill John from Brighton, who gave Lee Meagher a bit of a scare when they met last year. Finally losing to him, and has been out of the ring for some 9.5 months. Doesn't look like it, does it?
It doesn't, no. I think Hunt is trying to draw John into making some mistakes, but he's not prepared to oblige. A lot more shrewd boxing from Chill John tonight than we're used to seeing. Nothing dramatic, but he won't make that final step into punching range to allow Hunt to let the burst of punches go. So Hunt is really having to work to find some target here.
Because we mustn't forget that Chill John was a little prospect himself when he started out. Got derailed by John Thaxton, who stopped him in a couple of rounds. But he's stuck to the game and deserves this opportunity as much as Danny Hunt.
I think the action's just a little bit too cagey at the moment. I think someone's going to have to take the bull by the horns to get down to business, and I think it's going to have to be Danny Hunt. But two good little pros, you can actually see them going about their job well here.
It's the right hand from Chill John. Thinking fight in there. Feel their brains ticking over as they try and work out the next move. Left to the rib cage from Danny Hunt as the blood again streams from the cut.
Hunt will have to step in with the shots. He's reaching with them, so there's no snap in them, and he's in a position where he can be countered. He has to move in behind those punches.
Really ripped Chill John, as is Danny Hunt. Easily inside the 9 stone 9 limit. Both have worked so very hard. They've had decent sparring too with the likes of Alex Arthur and Scott Harrison. They've learned their trade, and this is their first big chance.
We've got live Premiership football this weekend. From midday on Sky Sports 2, we are just down the road live from Anfield as Liverpool take on Arsenal. On Sunday, it's our regular pay-per-view football as Middlesbrough is home to Chelsea. For further information on how to order this match, Sky Digital viewers should tune to channel 433 and follow the instructions. Cable customers, contact your local operator. And at 3 o'clock over on Sky Sports 1, it's Aston Villa against Bolton.
All good games to look forward to, and this is a fight we're really enjoying. It's nip and tuck between Danny Hunt and Chill John. Good operators in the lightweight division. Hunt cut in the second round by the left eye, being patched up by his cutsman Mick Williamson in between the rounds. And Chill John does not look fazed by this.
I think Chill John is the one springing the surprises here. I'm sure Hunt would have expected him to be much more aggressive, to make some mistakes and allow him to capitalise on that, but he's been so cagey. He's forcing Hunt, who is the favourite after all, to make the first move, and he's not really finding the range, and he's been picked off just now and again with his little flicking jabs. Nothing powerful, but I think Hunt realises this is a difficult job he has on his hands tonight.
Do you think John is relishing in the role of the underdog with the pressure most definitely on the Essex boy?
Definitely, Hunt is the one. Big things have been promised, big things are expected, so he has to force the action. Hunt is quite happy just to stand and wait. John is quite happy to wait, forcing Hunt to make the first move.
Needs the movement that made him such a good amateur. Howard Foster just having a little word with Chill John. They touch gloves. Respect between these two. There's a right hand that gets through.
Work then, work inside. Step back.
Of the two, John is the one who's a little bit more negative, and in close rounds that will probably cost him. He's going to have to come out of his shell eventually if he wants to pick up this title.
Yes, the work rate occasionally in Chill John has been a little disappointing. Faded dramatically against Graham Earl in their clash in Bethnal Green. Needs to work very, very hard here with Danny Hunt.
But I will say Hunt is just a little bit short on ideas at the moment. My big worry, as I said earlier, too many 4-rounders. You don't need a plan. And if you're going to make mistakes in a boxing, it's usually in the second half of a hard fight when you're a little bit tired. Well, he hasn't really been in that position before. So big things asked of him tonight.
There's so many 4-rounders Hunt's been in, so many won on points. This is different territory, and John has been there before. Well, they're really working on Danny Hunt's face there in the corner. Marks coming out, cut on the left eye. Let's have a look at the punches thrown, more by Chill John, but the success rate goes to Danny Hunt. That's an interesting one.
Well, I have Hunt slightly ahead in points, simply because he's the one trying to make the fight. I think John is a little bit too negative. Scoring the fight so far with clean punches landed on target would be very low because they're not getting through with the shots. But Hunt is the one forcing the fight, so I lean slightly towards him, but he really has to improve on his form so far.
Cut above the left eye, blemish under the left eye. Little marking by the right eye as well of Danny Hunt. Needs to have a big round here, doesn't he?
Well, I think he needs a little bit of success just to give himself some confidence. I think this is a totally different fight from the one he was preparing for. I'm sure he expected Chill John to be aggressive, come forward and make some mistakes, but he's been so cagey. And it's Hunt is the one being forced to make the mistakes, and he's also the one who's damaged.
His team at the Fight Factory in South London of Alan Smith and Frank Maloney said they expected him to wear John down for a late stoppage. But at the moment, the man from the South Coast is really boxing well. Maybe the best he has.
Well, that's beautiful boxing from John then. Allowed Hunt to make the mistakes and punished him for those mistakes. He is delighted at the way things are going. He's quite happy. All the pressure is with the other guy. He's just keeping his boxing together.
Well, we knew Ronnie Davis would bring up a fit fighter. The runs they have on the beaches and over the cliffs down on the South Coast, he always does that. But Chill John's brought to the ring is a little bit of guile tonight. A touch of quality. Still, Hunt working. The faster of the two, more punches being thrown by John on those stats. The success, though, the computer says with Danny Hunt. It's very tight, though.
The accuracy in this round has been with Chill John. First signs of frustration now coming from Danny Hunt. His corner have asked for better. He's trying to produce that, but it's not working yet.
That word from Mick Williamson here at ringside that the cuts are not a problem. It's round the side, that one on the left-hand side, and the swelling underneath he thinks he can control too over the 10 rounds. Doesn't want it to get any worse though. Half slips there, Chill John, as he delivers a right hand. He's making Hunt work.
Yep, and he's not making any mistakes, and that's the big problem for Hunt. Hunt's looking for some mistakes. He's looking for Chill John to commit himself a little bit more, but he won't oblige.
It's like a cut on the top of the head as well with Danny Hunt. Let's find out Spencer Oliver's thoughts at the moment. He's with Ed Robinson.
Well, Spencer, are you worried about those cuts of Danny Hunt?
Well, Danny, I said when we started off, he's got an excellent jab, Danny. He's neglected that jab this evening. He's making it very hard for himself. And we said as the rounds go on, he stops that head movement, but we haven't seen any of that head movement either. And he's making this contest very difficult for himself.
And he's having to rely on a punch more than he would like to.
Well, he's won 2 of his last 3 inside the distance, and maybe that's a little bit of gone to his head because he's looking to load up with his shots. He's neglecting that. We were talking about what an excellent array of punches he's got, and he's not doing those at the moment. He's looking for those big right hands and big hooks.
Do you think, are you surprised by the fact that Chil John is so cagey so early?
Well, I said Chil John was going to be his most difficult contest to date, and Chil John's, you know, he's come with a fight plan here, and he's boxing to this fight plan. Him and Ronnie Davis are doing a good job at the moment. This fight is all level at the moment.
Thanks, Spencer.
Ronnie Davis really firing up Chil John there. Well, there are alarm bells for the man who represented young England, was a distinguished amateur for the Repton club and has so far pretty much sailed through his professional career. Jim, like Spencer, you've got it level.
Yeah, well, Adam, there are a few rules in boxing you have to follow. When you're facing a cagey guy who's not easy to hit, you have to think, you have to use imagination, you have to show little feints, force him into making the first move so as you can counter him, or you put punches together. You don't throw single jabs towards cagey counter punchers. But that is what Hunt is doing here. He's not come up with any fresh ideas. He has to let punches go in bunches or start showing a little feint and draw leads from this fellow. You can't just keep leading with single jabs. He's walking onto the jabs as he's doing this.
Chil John looking strong and composed, negating the jab and skills at times of Danny Hunt. Not a big puncher himself, John, only 1 stoppage in his 8 wins. Hunt has 2. But the business against David Keogh and Mark Bowen, who he blew away in a round, but he's finding John hard to catch. And the Brighton man's countering well.
I mean, it's early days yet, but you have to ask, is he prepared for this battle? I mean, a couple of really strenuous 8-rounders under his belt. He would know, he would have the confidence that he can do the 10 rounds comfortably, but he's never done it, and so until you've done it, you don't know. I mean, you can't fault his effort. He's going about the job well, but he's just a little bit short in ideas.
So often about timing these matches when the fighters are really ready. Are they groomed on the 4-round stage? Then the 6-rounders, can they be moved up? He walks into a right hand there, which hurt Danny Hunt. And are things all starting to slip away for the Essex boy? This is the hardest fight, definitely, of Danny Hunt's professional career.
Actually, desperation tactics in this round from Hunt. He's losing his boxing, he's losing his composure. I think it was part of Chil John's plan to rattle him, to frustrate him, and that's beginning to work.
Look at that face, slashed to ribbons on both sides for Danny Hunt. Concern on the look of Frank Maloney in the corner. He's never got into his rhythm, has he really?
He hasn't solved the problems, and that's his big problem.
You're not fucked. Not fucked. You're not fucked.
3 of them around Danny Hunt. Frank Maloney, Alan Smith and Mick Williamson in the middle. They are seriously worried about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to see Adam, they're saying in the corner, box him, box him. I'm afraid he needs better advice than that. He needs told to force this fella to make some mistakes. He has to be advised how to find some target, put punches together, stop throwing single punches at a counter puncher. It's no use just tell him to box him. That's what he's trying to do, and it's not working.
New territory for Danny Hunt. Never been beyond 6. Chil John, remember, has. The Brighton underdog in the red and gold, who at 26 is looking for the biggest win of his career. How will Howard Foster, the referee from Doncaster, be seeing things? So many of these rounds have been close.
Yeah, but I would say the last thing Hunt should be doing now is backing off. That's like admitting he's having some problems. If he's trying to come forward for every round, if he's trying to draw John into some counter punch, he's fine. But you have to stay closely in range. If you go too far out of range, the other fellow won't throw a punch. You have to just play almost within range and encourage him to throw some leads. But he's backing too far off.
Danny Hunt's been groomed on the journeymen like Dave Hines, Gary Fleer, Peter Buckley, the ones we see week in, week out. Chill John has been in with the likes of Jason Hall and Graham Earl and Lee Meagher. Slightly higher opposition. Is that showing tonight?
Well, at least he's come up with something different in this round. He's forcing John to come forward, which in itself is not a bad move. I'm surprised that John's falling into the trap because things were going so well earlier when he was allowing Hunt to come forward. I mean, it's not dramatic stuff to watch, but he's keeping out of range, he's drawing leads, so at least that's a little better than he was doing in some of the earlier rounds.
Trying to get that jab working, which has been such a successful tool for Danny Hunt over the last few years. Never had experience as a senior amateur, turned pro so young, and it's a very different game.
Well, thankfully Hunt has come up with something else, which was badly needed. And he's just flitting around out of range, trying to draw John forward, and surprisingly, Chill John is falling into that.
Frank Maloney was saying in the last inter-round, don't feel sorry for yourself, work, work. And he has to.
Last 10.
Well, not the most exciting round of the fight so far, but maybe a little confidence builder for Danny Hunt.
Right, you've been ahead, you're letting it back into it, right? What's the matter with you? Throw the punches, you're not stepping in range. What's the matter with you? Hey? Step it up, Chill. Don't mug yourself off as you're going to win this, you're going to throw it away. Step it up. You must throw punches, you've got to get in range, mate. You're out of range all the time, what's the matter with you? Step in. Now you start going to war and have a fight.
I think Ronnie Davis agrees with you, Jim. Very pleased about Chill John early on. Now it's a bit of the riot act.
Yet Hunt has changed his tactics. You can see how close it is here with the fight total, the punches landed. It's close, but Hunt is the one who's changed tactics, so John has to do the same.
All level on Jim's card. Ronnie Davis didn't give one of those infamous slaps like he did to Chris Eubank against Steve Collins, but wasn't happy with Chill John. How will his charge react to that? 3 rounds to go for the English lightweight title.
Well, I think what Ronnie meant, if you're going to come forward, do it in a business-like manner and look for some results from it. Don't just go without a clue in your head or without a thought in your head what you're doing. Think what you're doing and do it with some commitment. Good right hook from John.
It's only the 62nd round of Danny Hunt's pro career. How much will he be learning in there tonight? This is what fight school's all about. And it's a well-matched contest, isn't it?
Yeah, and if John feels he's the physically stronger of the two, this is the stage of the fight where they should be bringing that into play and start putting Hunt under a little bit of pressure. He's not doing that, so Hunt at this moment is allowed to box at his own pace.
That's good from Danny Hunt. Solid jab. Boxing skills coming into play. Will John slip away like he did against Graham Earl, or can he find something fresh? He'll cut by the right eye now for Danny Hunt. That skin is going to give him problems.
John has to show a bit more commitment as he comes forward. He's still trying to be cagey. You can't really attack in a cagey manner at this level. I mean, Ray Leonard could do it, but at this level, you really have to commit yourself and get on with it.
With the extra zip of Danny Hunt, may just be nicking him one or two of these rounds. John waiting just a bit too much to deliver his own. Snap from Danny Hunt, especially with that jab in this round. You can see the tape coming a little loose on his left glove. He's done a lot of work with that in this session.
See, Danny's flicking away with the jab now. He's not taking too many clean shots. He's trying to give the referee a reason to score the rounds towards him. It's not breathtaking stuff, and I think it reinforces what we were saying earlier. He has a lot to learn.
Frank Maloney waving Danny Hunt in. He knows this has got to be close. It's been a better 3 minutes for Hunt, but there's the right eye, which is opening as well. More work for the corner, more for Mick Williamson. Did a head clash cause this one?
Yeah, I would say so. That was a solid clash, and you would always expect Hunt to come off second best against the hard-headed Chill John. Yep, no question, that one was caused an accidental clash.
Well, Mick Williamson, the London cab driver, is earning his salt once again. Just working on the swelling under the eye. Look at the little grazes all round the face of Danny Hunt, but he's got to keep his cool, his composure, and finish this well against a stubborn Chill John. Just 6 minutes left, English lightweight title at stake. And let's go right into the corner. Ed Robinson's with Frank Maloney.
Well, Frank, you don't look very happy cornerman tonight.
Well, he's making very hard work of his job. To be truthful, I put this fight down to the last 2 rounds. He's posing too much and he's falling short and not getting his work done properly. I think the cuts have upset him and put him out of his stride, but he's a professional fighter, you know, and the corner have dealt with the cuts very well. But he's just paying too much respect to Chill Johns at the moment.
You think it's all down to the final 2 rounds?
I believe it's down to these final 2 rounds.
Thanks, Frank.
Frank Maloney says it the way it is. Honest as always. He has big hopes for Danny Hunt. He must be a little disappointed and a little concerned. Got to get him through this one. What has Hunt got to do to make sure, and what has John got to do to get the upset?
Well, I think that the problem for Hunt now is he's feeling the pace. He's never been in this situation before. It's ill preparation in my book, 12 4-round fights. I don't even think one 4-round fight a professional should be involved in, and I think he's beginning to catch up. He's making some mistakes now. He's not as tight as he was earlier. I think that the only good news for Hunt is the fact that Chill John is blowing a little bit as well. But whatever happens here, if he does win the title, I don't think he's going to like the manner in which he's done it. But it's still wide open, as Frank Maloney says. You would expect a big drive from Chill John, but we're not even seeing that.
Has John got the speed and energy to finish off the show in style? Can Hunt dig deep? Time out. Howard Foster, I think the tape, yes. Loose on the left glove, Alan Smith.
Come on, Danny, dig in, man, let's have a go.
Really pushing Hunt on. Come on, this is what it's all been about, they're saying to him. Good left hook from Danny Hunt. He's trying to finish strongly.
Yeah, well, he's the one at this stage who's going out and trying to get his hands on the title. And in this type of fight, which is so close, so few real clean punches being landed, I think that's entitled to sway the referee in his direction. It swayed me in his direction, but it underlines the fact that Danny Hunt has a lot to learn, a long way to go.
Has had the pressure, called the best kept secret. Even one of the best lightweights in Britain. There are plenty ahead of him. Jason Cook, David Burke, Graham Earl, Bobby Vandy, Kevin Bennett after his upset win over Colin Dunn. Are we going to have another one tonight for the English title? Let's listen to what they're saying in the corners.
Come on, this is the last round.
Listen to me, listen carefully. Big round, after round, listen, you need one more big round like that, you've done it. Yeah. You go straight to the referee. Yeah?
Listen,
don't you oi.
Wait, and you've got to go to work this round.
No, you won't try, you'll do it. You understand me?
You're going to do it.
And you're going to do it. Big round, but don't fall in.
Hey, listen, you don't want to be the only one who fails the final exam at fight school, do you?
Well, you won't.
You'll
Show
go
us
out
what you
and
made
go
of.
to work.
Yeah? Danny, listen, don't fall in and get careless. Box beautiful, but your hands up. I don't want to see them low, you understand, yeah? Don't tell me you can't do it, because you can, yeah?
3 minutes of punching, that's all we want. Go to work on the body edge, switch it. Don't even look at your work, just keep punching.
And hands up, yeah. 3 minutes in your life. 3 minutes in your life.
Wonderful, wonderful corner sound there for you. What an insight. Frank Maloney saying, do you want to be the only one to fail the final examination at fight school? It's up to Danny Hunt. It's close. Maybe he's just nicking it. On Jim's card, he is by a couple of points, but it's no guarantee.
But he's winning on my card, I think, mainly on what he's put into the fight, as opposed to the quality that we expected to see from him. I mean, before the fight, we were really looking for a real quality performance from young Danny Hunt, but he showed different qualities tonight. He showed that he's prepared to grit his teeth and grind out a result, provided he gets the result in the referee's eyes. He's getting it in mind so far, so at least he's shown championship qualities in his attitude, if not in his technical performance.
Yes, he's picked it up, Danny Hunt, in the last few rounds. Chill John not doing quite as much. He's shown bottle and grit and heart and determination, which is what the corner asked for. He has been bothered by those cuts, blinking and annoyed that he's been caught.
Well, Chill John had the tactics that were working a treat in the early stages of the fight. Full credit to Hunt. He came up with something different, but Chill John didn't. He carried on trying to do the same things, and on my card, the fight has begun to swing away from him in Hunt's direction.
Well, plenty to reflect in Danny Hunt's performance tonight. Back to the gym, things to work on as the education continues. But the most important thing for the Essex boy is that somehow he grinds out the win here. He's got another minute. 10th round.
And he's finishing the stronger, Adam, which is also very important. I think that'll impress himself when he looks back on this tape, because he's a young kid, turned pro at 18. It'd be nice to know that you've got that little bit of grit when it's required, because believe me, it'll be required once or twice before his career's over.
Yes, stamina was a question mark, and he has come through that test. Better boxing ability, if not sweet and smooth that we've seen him before. He's had his mini scares, but has he come through the final examination to take this English lightweight title? 10 seconds to go. He's still working so hard, deserves it.
Yeah, he's grinding out a performance in my eyes, and as I say, still a lot to learn. He couldn't solve John out in the early stages, so that's a little worry. There's a lot to learn, but definitely, yeah, good decision by the referee. I'm interested to hear the scoring.
Danny Hunt becomes the English lightweight champion. He overcame cuts over both eyes and on his forehead, and some rather difficult patches against this hard man from Brighton, Chill John, who just let it slip away a bit at the end, and Hunt boxed his way through to win number 14 the most important, but the toughest night yet, so for him.
Yeah, well, it's maybe make you appreciate a title more when you have to work hard to get it, and there's no question young Danny Hunt had to work hard tonight. I expected more quality in his boxing, but I'm impressed. You look at the stats here. John throwing more punches, but Hunt that a little bit more accurate. But certainly the stats had it a little bit closer than I did. But he worked hard for the title, and he's won it. That's the main thing, I suppose.
Be very interesting to see how Howard Foster scored this one. Let's find out with Michael Pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of championship boxing, referee Howard Foster has scored the contest for John 95 points, for Hunt 97 points. He is the winner and the new lightweight champion of England, the Essex boy, Danny Hunt.
Well, Danny Hunt wins it by a couple of rounds, which was pretty fair, Jim, wasn't it? Deserved it in the end.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He put that little bit more into it, and it's nice that he'll always remember his first title, and I think that the English title is an excellent idea in British boxing today, but he must realise, long way to go, lots still to learn.
A very hard match. It'll be interesting to see what Danny's got to say, and the team. There's a tired Chill John. Still to come, we have Paul Smith as well, local star up in these parts, and Nigel Wright, the hope from Hartlepool. Good southpaw boxer he is. Plenty on Fight School. Let's find out how Danny Hunt found that. Tough, I bet. Ed Robinson.
Well, Danny, new English champion after a tough battle, but how did you assess your performance? Not that happy?
Well, I know Chill John was a tough cooker and he's come to fight, and I'm glad I got the experience of 10 rounds under my belt. I knew Chill was going to be good. If I was scoring that and I was at score, I'd give it C+. I mean, I know I've got to go back and work on a lot of things, but overall I was pleased with my performance because I'm the champ.
The cuts were bad. Did they bother you at all?
Not at all. Mickey Williams, I've got a great cutsman. He just came in and told me to get on my job really, and that's what I've done. I just let him get on with it.
Were you surprised that John was so cagey?
I was. I know Chill John's been a world champion kickboxer, and he's fought at a higher level than me as a pro, so I know he's going to be tough, and he was fit. But I was glad to get the rounds under my belt and get the win.
Just a word with your manager, Frank Maloney. You rate Danny Hunt very highly. Were you happy with his performance tonight?
I'm pleased he won. I mean, obviously we've got to go back to the drawing board, but he showed determination. When he was told you had to go to work in them last 2 rounds, he went out and he dug deep, and he kept digging deeper. In the last round, he won it convincingly, which I think, you know, by the referee's scorecard, it was on the last 2 rounds. So I was pleased with the way he could respond after sort of 8 hard rounds, because this is his first 10-round fight.
Well done for winning the title tonight.
Thank you. Cheers, Ed.
Well, congratulations there to Danny Hunt. We'll examine his performance in closer detail after the break, and also a chance to see Liverpool's exciting light middleweight, Paul Smith. It's a massive weekend of boxing from both sides of the Atlantic, kicking off with Belfast puncher Brian McGee as he defends his IBO super middleweight title at home against the hardened Argentinian Omar Gonzalez. That's Sky Sports 1 from 8 on Saturday fight night. And then rejoin us from midnight for Big Fight Special, the much anticipated heavyweight clash in Vegas. Can James Toney conquer the legendary Evander Holyfield? And then there's the emerging boxing superstar Eric Morales in a grudge rematch with Gussie Espada Jr. from Los Angeles. We're worldwide for a special night on Sky Sports 1. Here on Fight School, Danny Hunt had a tremendously hard title win. The English champion, he won it beating Chill John over 10 rounds on points. And Barry, Fight School is all about learning, and he certainly learned tonight.
Well, he's a lot to learn. That's what we, as Jim said and mentioned in the commentary, he has a lot to learn. He made a lot of mistakes. He made fundamental mistakes. He's not a natural puncher. He tried to become a puncher early on. He expended a lot of energy. Then he got those nasty cuts, which again threw him into disarray. And he lost his way a bit in the middle rounds. It was very close. I had the fight even after 7 rounds, and it was only in the last couple of rounds where he began to pull away, Nicky. But this was a bit of a scare for him, and a bit of a scare for his corner too. He's got much work to do.
He didn't jab enough early on and just tried tried to fight it, and that's not his style.
That's exactly right. He's not a natural puncher. He's, as I say, he's more of a boxer, but he lost his way a little bit by trying to swing that right hand every time, throwing everything into it, not putting his punches together in bunches as he should have done, working off a jab. His jab didn't work effectively enough early on, and really he lost his way a bit. Chiljon, his tail was up. He was back in the fight. He was hitting him with more punches. The fight was even. In his beginning, he had to really grit, dig deep and grit his teeth. But he showed that he has that.
And surprisingly, though, when we expected him of the two to tire, he came through and got his boxing back together.
Yeah. Well, it looked like Chiljon was the more rugged of the two, and you would have expected him to come back in the end and be able to hold up with his strength. But as I say, Hunt showed that he's strong and determined, and he's got real grit, and he was able to tough it out near the end.
OK, well, now it's time for Spencer's Classroom Report. Back to ringside, he's with Ed.
Thanks, Nicky. Well, Spencer, Danny Hunt got the win. It's hard to criticise him when he's just won a title, but you were a bit disappointed with his performance, were you?
I was disappointed because I know what Danny can do, and for me, he applied all the wrong tactics. He boxed the wrong fight.
He started quite well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, to analyse the fight, it started round 2. Really was where it all went wrong for him. He was standing in front of John, got caught with a big right hand that opened up a cut over the left eye, and that's where it all started going wrong. He was a little bit too anxious and too keen standing in front of John, and that head work we was talking about, that he neglected that all night long and was getting caught by shots that he should never have got caught by.
Do you think he would have boxed better if he hadn't been cut?
I think that he was just too keen to win a title and put on a good show. I mean, he was standing in front, he neglected his jab. His jab is one of his best weapons. He neglected that, he neglected all the head movement. He was just trying to look for that big knockout punch. I mean, I said earlier on, he'd had 2 wins out of his last 3 inside the distance. That seemed to go to his head a little bit. He was loading up with the big shots and really, was found wanting a couple of times. I mean, all those combinations that we see him throw on the pads and we've seen him throw in previous contests, we didn't see.
But encouraging for him, the fact that he's finished really strongly, considering he'd never been beyond 6 rounds before.
Well, that was a big question mark that needed to be answered, and fair play to him. In the 10th round, he was still coming forward and still really trying. I mean, for me, after 8 rounds, it was all level and it was all to go for in those last 2 rounds, and Danny pulled it out of the bag.
So what kind of grades would you give him on the performance this evening?
I mean, on the performance there, we see on the fitness, because his first one's been 10 rounds, was the 8. Defence was 4 because there was no head movement. I know that he's got it there. He wasn't doing it. Jab 4 because he neglected that as well. Durability 7. I mean, he showed good durability, but did cut up a little bit. Footwork was 5 because he changed tactics. After about 7 rounds, started boxing on the back foot, using his feet a little bit more.
Thanks, Spencer. And there'll be tougher tests to come for Danny Hunt.